guys, it's Bastian time. Welcome to This Week in Zelda News. I'm your host Bastian, and I just ate a waffle. Let's get to those top stories. Our first story is about a piece of fan-crafted art. It's amazing. It's stained glass, actual factual stained glass. Now, it's kind of reminiscent of that stained glass scene in The Wind Waker, when you go down below Hyrule Castle and there are all those stained glass depictions of the various sages and so on. But it isn't directly one of those pieces. It's completely, I think, a completely brand new piece by this particular artist. Really good, and frankly, I wish they were selling it because I'd replace my window with it. Our next story is actually a leftover from last week. I don't know how I forgot to mention this last week, but it's just that Skyward Sword has now amassed over 5 million hours played. The way we know this is because if you opt in when you're playing your Wii, it collects data about how many hours you play each specific game, and so they've collected all that data, and it turns out Skyward Sword, collectively, we've all played 5 million hours, and I think that's 5 million hours well spent. Speaking of Skyward Sword, there's a Skyward Sword Skyloft level in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Sorta. It's a fan-made project called Project M, and what they're attempting to do with this project is to make Super Smash Bros. Brawl a bit more like Melee. And then one of the things that they're doing is there's now a Skyloft level for you to play in it, and it looks really good. I've actually never played any Super Smash Bros. Games of any kind, but looking at this, I think, hey, it looks awesome. Our next story is about a very rare Zelda game that you may have never heard of. It's called Ancient Stone Tablets, and this was in Japan only, and it's basically a direct sequel to A Link to the Past, sort of. What it is in Japan they had this specific device that you would connect to your Super Nintendo or Super Famicom over there, and then broadcast. It's a satellite receiver that would broadcast games directly into it. So Ancient Stone Tablets was not a game that you could just buy on a cartridge. It actually had to be broadcast to you only at specific times of day. If you missed that window, if you were gone at soccer practice or something, then you're out of luck. You wouldn't be able to play it that week. So in any case, a fan decided to go ahead and make a documentary about this, explaining what Ancient Stone Tablets was, and it's very informative. It does have a lot of vulgar language, so if you're not a fan of that kind of thing, maybe this won't be the right one for you, but otherwise, go ahead and watch it. Our next story is about the fact that a YouTube artist, musician, decided that what his next project was going to be was to create arrangements of every single song from A Link to the Past. That's going to be impressive. So far, he's got 5 songs up. My favorite is his arrangement of Hyrule Castle. They're very good, and it's in a modern rock style, so if you're a fan of that kind of music, and it's fantastic. I suggest following this guy for sure. There's a link in the description down below. Our next story comes from 15-Bit Gamer. You might remember them as the people who created the Sheikah hoodie, or Wisdom hoodie, and that was a really great hoodie. Now they're back at it again with the Courage hoodie, which of course is a nice green hoodie, and it has all the Courage. Actually, it has, I think, all of the Sage emblems on the front, and it looks really nice. I'm definitely buying this one. Also, they went ahead and are now releasing a shirt version. So if you're not a fan of hoodies for whatever reason, or you can't quite afford the hoodie version, then you could definitely pick up the shirt version, which is basically identical but a shirt. And I also hear through the grapevine that over at Zelda Dungeon there's going to be a contest where these might be one of the prizes, so you might want to stay tuned to that. Our next story is about a fan-made clock. Basically what they did is they went ahead and recreated the Gate of Time from Skyward Sword and made it out of ceramic, and did a very fine job of it and turned it into a clock. I wish this was for sale because I don't even have a clock in here, and I think this would look great on my wall. But it's not for sale, so Oh well. Our next story is about, it's kind of bizarre. Basically what it is Link and Zelda and Mario appear as a love triangle in a video that has nothing to do with them, and the video is actually the video for a cover of a song. You might be familiar with the song. It's called Somebody I Used to Know, and it's by the artist Gotye. So it's not the video for his actual official song, but a band decided to cover the Gotye song, and so it's the video for that cover of the song. It's a very bizarre video, imagining Princess Zelda and Mario as a couple, but, you know, it's kind of interesting to watch. Personally, I'm a big fan of the Gotye song. I think it's really unique sounding, and definitely doesn't sound like anything else you hear on the radio. Very, you know, kind of unusual. To hear a band cover it, kind of generic, electronic-y style, not really my cup of tea. I mean, it kind of sucks the life out of what made that song so awesome to begin with. Not a fan of their cover so much, but, and then our final story is about a huge myth that's been around since, you know, like 1998, basically, about Ocarina of Time, saying it's possible to cause Link to become swordless all the way up to when you battle Ganon. It sounds impossible because, as you know, you have to get the Kokiri sword before you're even allowed to leave the woods. But this video is from some people over at Game Trailer, and what they do is they have this series called Pop Fiction, where they sort of analyze various video game myths and see if they can reproduce those things. And it turns out, yeah, totally possible in every single version of Ocarina of Time, including the GameCube disc version, the Wii Virtual Console version. It's definitely possible to cause Link to become swordless, so if you want to know how, watch this video. So that's it for this week in Zelda news. A lot of news this week. I anticipate that with E3 coming next week, it's going to be much less fan-made style Zelda news and more actual factual, oh my gosh guys, did you hear about Zelda Wii U? It's going to be like this kind of news, so that'll be awesome. Stay tuned for that. And did you also know that I have another video series called This Week in Nintendo News, and that basically sort of rounds up all of the Wii U rumors, all of the Wii U facts, anything about the 3DS that might be happening, including rumored redesigns and things like that. So definitely watch that if you're interested in that sort of thing. You can click right there to do that. And that's it. See you guys next week. Bye! Our next story is, I forgot. Whoops, what is the next story? Oh yeah, the clock thing.